Just want to make sure everything was all ready and the whatnot. So, I give a little bit for people to come flying in, and while we wait. Officially, also, Venus has finally, as I call it, gotten drunk, meaning appearing to be going backwards, retrograde. And actually, this kind of a spell, this kind of a working, actually will be getting assistance with her going retrograde and going backwards. And just to get the technical nitty gritty disclaimer thingies out of the way, honestly, as I've always said it, you're free to do whatever you will. You're free to do as you please. You can do whatever kind of magic you want to do. But no matter what happens after it, be it good, bad, dreadful, or whoopsie, you're the one at fault. Meaning that if you do, say if you actually, Venus is retrograde. And I'll explain that while I'm making this spell and working, all that. But whatever you choose to do, be it like if you want to like get someone to be obsessive about you, and then they just start coming like your biggest fanboy, and they're just like on you. If that's your intention, go for it. It's your happiness, it's your fulfillment, and you have to come first. And then, but say like if you do this working, and all of a sudden the person now looks at you and goes, "Ugh, get away from me! I don't like you," and they actually push you nonstop, and they won't ever come anywhere near you again. Either way, you're at fault, because that's just how the occult is. You never know what's going to happen. It's like spinning the wheel of, let's see if you get lucky, nothing happens. You get lucky, you got it. You're lucky, you get a critical fail instead. That's just how the occult world is. And I'm somebody who is a big adamant on like, you can just do what you want. There's the only thing that is right and wrong can only be said by you. If you feel that you have to make someone woozy woo you because you really like them, have at them. If you feel that you need to drop an anvil on someone's head metaphorically by cursing them, family, and everyone else around them, that's up for you to decide, not me. Whatever you choose to do is your choice, and you know what the best route is. You make the choice yourself. You can get suggestions from other people and other ways of going about it, but having the idea of like scaring somebody, saying like, "It's not good karma. How would you like it if somebody did that to you?" Well, that's not the case now, is it? Because that's not happening to them. They're still making the choice to get their fulfillment and happiness first. If they're reaching out for that, let them reach for it. Don't be all like, "That's not good karma." For one thing, somebody else does not have the authority to tell you what you can and can't do in that regard. And somebody can't tell you and push you to live a life that they think is the best one. Is that your life is not theirs. They can go and stick it and piss it. Because at the end of the day, there's only one person that you are going to be living with and dealing with for the rest of your life. I said it again. You. You make the choices. You decide how it happens. So I say just go with whatever makes you happy and your choice. You choose. You make the final call. I don't know what's going to make you happy, but you do. So go for it. If somebody doesn't like it, oh, woe is Adam. Oh, God forbid. No. I can't let them get their happiness. No, I'm melting. They got their happiness. Oh, I'm jealous. No. Oh, for bloody heck's sakes. But, I mean, that's how I look at it. If anything, if somebody doesn't agree with, like, the workings you're doing or the route you're going, oh, boogie hoo-hoo. Now, just scooch you out of the way and let people get to where they want to go. Agree with it or not, that's none of my business. But anyway, so with that big honker thingy of disclaiming out of the way, this working is, as the title of this live stream is called, essentially this working is going to be making a love interest, heck, even it could be a current love interest, current partner, spouse figure, somebody that you're engaged to, married, ex-lover, someone that you really want to have come towards you, don't really matter, as long as you're choosing somebody that you do have that strong pull for. Whichever one it is, you can do it for the working. Though the only thing I would suggest you probably consider making it a little bit careful when considering doing this working on is yourself. Because if you do this working on yourself, you might come into the issue of just like you might become so obsessed with yourself and intoxicated by your own existence, which we do not want you to become like how what happened to narcissists, looking at his reflection in the water, being like, "Ooh, look at that pretty dude. Oh, it's me. Oh God!" And he drowned. We don't want that. So, the things you're going to need for this working are essentially you're going to need one of these things. Probably thinking pink candle. Isn't that kind of like, like the sweet, cheesy, woozy, wooey, Cupid, lovey-dovey kind of a love color? It is, but instead, hold on. Give me just a second. Sorry about that. I had to, get out the big mute button and, things. But anyway. So, the reason why with the pink candle, simple. When it comes to setting intention, usually when we see the color pink, we think, oh, that's sweet. That's just so romantic and so dreamy. Kind of that cheesy cupcake love. Okay. But the malefic side of pink, because everything has a benefic or deemed malefic or reverse side. A light side of it, which is the cheesy love. A dark side, which is obsession, addiction. Get it? Intoxicated, obsessive, craving, hooked, addicted. That's pink. Because what's one of the most addictive things known to man? That's natural. Sugar. Sweet. Sweetness is sugar. Pink is a sweet. Sugar is sweet and addictive because it gets you hyped up. And when you go down, you crave it. There we go. That's why you have the pink candle. And also, if you do not have a pink one, when in doubt, of course, always use white. Now that we have the candle color, you're going to be needing an herbal mixture. And in this herbal mixture I have in here, I have corn flour. Because corn flour actually opens the bridges for communication, both on the 3D physical realm and also the telepathic level. Also in there is also rose petals, which is kind of, it's self-explanatory because rose is pretty much the queen flower for anything love related, and also rose can actually adapt to any situation you put it in. So essentially saying if a working needs more of this type of a focus, like if there's not enough attraction, rose will adapt and actually fill in that gap as kind of like an all-rounder. Also in here is lavender. Lavender is like a really lulling, like so sweet and lulling. So it kind of, this one sounds a little bit mean, but it kind of mentally makes them dumb down a little, making them more susceptible, but more like okay, if that makes sense. Also in here is licorice root, because in order for us to have this obsessive you're gonna be hooked on me, dude, you're gonna need to have something being able to be all like taking getting a hold and a grip. So licorice fruit is kind of like, let's just keep it simple. Just do it my way. It's so much easier. Come on, you agree? Yeah, good. I thought so. Calamus fruit. Licorice and calamus root are actually known when they're put together to actually become the strongest, like dominate, submit. You're gonna do what I say. Now, no ifs, ands, buts, or tushies. They're the combination that's known for it generally. So calamus fruit is in here to complement licorice fruit and support it. As well, I also put in a weeny little bit of myrrh. Myrrh is a resin that's also associated with the Divine Mother. And with myrrh, you have a magical potency boost. And also in here is dragon's blood, again. Dragon's blood is essentially used for anything to amplify, also protect, and of course also to kind of give things a little bit of the hot effect, if you catch my drift. I'm not going to get too vulgar with that. Also in here is, what is that? I just had it and I lost it. Chamomile. Chamomile, even though it's like a cute little flowering plant, is essentially like it's pretty much the tiny, I like to call it the tiny physician, because it can be used for any kind of purpose to heal, mend, soothe, calm. But in this case, it's actually providing some luck. So a luck love tap. And I believe that's all I put in here, unless if I see something else in here off the top of my head. But yeah, that's the other one. The other one that I put in here is witch's grass. Witch's grass is a really lulling, intoxicating, chilling, but also a more opening connection, if that makes sense. So then, those are the plants. But no, we also still have a lot more things we're going to put in this big boy. Now, if you do not have the magical oils, you can just simply stick with the essential oils that I'm going to be providing. But if you do, you're going to want to have at least 3 magical oils that you can make your own, or you can actually just have somebody else make them for yourself or buy them. You're going to need something that's going to be a bit, well, this one is probably the most optional one of the 3. This one's called Man Dominator. This one essentially overpowers a male target. And another one is a Bend Over, which pretty much is like, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, and now get ready. Yeah. To the point where it's just like, it's either you're going to do this, or you're going to be having something be put out in public like, oh, wow, look at this one. Degraded. This one's kind of a mean one, but when you're trying to get somebody to get like hooked and addicted, you're going to have to like really get full control of their head. So you're going to need this one. Now, you also could use Bewitching. This is what this one is. Dixie Love. Fast Luck. What's that one called? There's Chipperosa would be one. Another one would be Fiery Passion of Love, I believe. Or what's that called? I just had another one. Either the Follow Me Boy, Follow Me Girl mixture, which depending on what gender you're trying to pull to use that one. And then there is also, well, if you're trying to pull, like in this situation, for my example, because that's the only thing I want to, yoink towards me, you can use this lovely oil called Teal Oil. No, not like Teal, like, oh, not that Q. Not the Q that's like, oh, we're coming up with things and kind of little being out of logical reasoning. Not that Q. This Q is actually intended for a male and male connection and pull. So essentially you really just need one kind of domination oil and a Woozy Woo oil. Minimum. You can make it yourself or have a botanical seller to you. Then we will need the essential oil part, because there's quite a bit of this one. Okie dokie, let's take it right from the tippity top. We'll need We're gonna need something to, you know, give things like the big flame under its tush, so a good motivator. Cinnamon bark. Cinnamon bark is hot, like get going, like motivating. Turns up the heat. Oregano. Now you're thinking oregano? Isn't that like the plant that's so anti-everything? Anti-BS, anti-stupidity, anti-inflammatory, antiseptic? Yes. But oregano, you're only going to use a ween, like a very small bit. Because oregano, what it does, anything that tries to hinder this working, oregano tells it to piss it and get it away from us. Vanilla for enhancing lusty feelings and having the urge to stick or catch it. I'll relax, like you haven't heard the birds and the bees before. Ylang-ylang. Ylang-ylang is actually a flower known to make people come together romantically and lovingly. Vetiver. Vetiver is a male-to-male attraction herb. But also, since vetiver's roots go all the way really deep down to the earth, vetiver also pierces resistance and also provides calming. Patchouli. Patchouli smells like dirt. It smells like literally like you picked up some gravel and went, there's patchouli. So patchouli is really grounding and inspiring manifestation to happen, but patchouli is an extreme when it comes to like the aphrodisiac or like the love and the lust attraction. It can either be all the way in or all the way no. With patchouli, it's either all the way yes or all the way get the heck away from me. Violet. Well, violet is a flower that's very, really seduceful and very mysterious and very lulling and pulling. Pink pepper, because pink pepper is actually a really, it's like a innocent, happy love scent. Neroli. Neroli is actually meant for having beauty and intimacy between two people. Rose oil, if you have rose oil. If you don't have rose oil, just stick with the rose petals. You're going to also need jasmine oil. If you don't have jasmine oil, then you can substitute it for poppy seed if you do not have jasmine flower or jasmine oil. And if you are lucky to have any of this, blue lotus. Because blue lotus actually brings something to be ascend, like an intent to ascend, and have any negative influence just rub right off. Kind of like how when a duck prunes its feathers, it can go under the water and the water just comes right off. And if you want to add one extra little finishing touch to it, you can also add Telstly or holy basil. Because this is essentially like the same thing what I said about blue lotus, but holy basil essentially, instead of it being more zen and calming, it's more negative. Hey Adam. Yeah, Telstly kind of is like sock it to me, get away this BS stuff that's trying to hinder me. So, but when I get to like the crystals and the layout of the grid, well, I'll get into that. So, first step, you get your pink wax apparatus, and if it has a sticker on it, come and get it off because this actually has a sticker on it. So, hey Jabrail. So when you have this, like fresh off the store or like the sticker fresh clean off of it, you don't do anything with it until you cleanse it and make sure it's reset back to where it's supposed to be. I'm going to just do this and make sure that is turned on, that way I can see everybody. So you got to cleanse this thing first. You can't just be able to like poke, get it all holy, and then throw all the stuff in there and go shabang. No, you gotta get all the BS off of it. So depending on how you want to do it, you can do it get your physical with it. And that's what I like to do. Pretty much what you do, you have the top of it face away from you, and pretty much just like if you're, sounds so bad, like if you're taking a kid that's misbehaving, put him over your knee and spanking it. Essentially what you're doing is you're spanking the negativity from the bottom. It's coming off of it. That's one way. Another way, I like to call this peeling the potato. Piece of selenite, You just skin the BS away. That's another way. You can also cleanse it with incense smoke, which over here I have a diffuser. It actually has an oil mixture that I actually put into it and started before I started the live stream. There's that way. If you want to, you can also, well, except, you know, putting this close to fire, you might light it, so probably just spank it a few times, skin the BS away, or have it be blown by your diffuser or incense smoke. But once it has the BS off of it, you gotta now give it its new focus. So in this regard, I would like to even consider the best alternative is to do something as such. There's something on here that is bugging me, getting it out of my life. There we go. So, before you start and actually start poking it, pretty much now take your intention oil, or intention oils. I'm going to just decap all of them. Like, take the caps off, not decapitate them, because they kind of don't have heads. So then you're now going to go and add onto each finger, like your index and middle finger. You're going to add the oils like this, and now you're going to just put your fingers together like that. Up from the bottom like that. Start at the bottom like that way, and then alley up, bring it upward, and make sure that you really get it on there. And yes, you can go ahead and be making, you know, them nasty jokes if you want to. Go ahead, we're all ladies here, kind of. And make sure that the glass part is fully, yeah, go ahead if you think, oh, that's nasty the way he's working his hands, and don't be jealous now. Don't be hating that I got skilled hands and you don't. So now the glass is now infused with it, and now you also got to get the inside of it. The glass, not the wax yet. And you're probably thinking, so what's the point of, you know, doing all of this instead of just getting right to it? What you're doing is you're pretty much engulfing and having the entire being of this candle, including the glass, vibrate with that same intention. So now the whole glass is now having a mixture of man dominating, bending them over, woozy wooing, and because since, you know, in my circumstance it only makes sense if I use it for a same gendered, the Q oil. Not QAnon oil. No, that if somebody made that, I'd be really concerned. So anyway, now that this glass part of it has been greased, we can now actually start sticking it. So, numerologically, when we're trying to actually have someone become woozy wooed with us, that kind of intention requires something to be kind of stuck in an infinite loop. Meaning that it's going to go. So pretty much we're looking at the number 8, the number for Saturn. So in order to be a little bit more practical, this probably may not be the most ideal thing to use. This is kind of a knife. Since this is probably the best thing I got, we're going to just stick with it. Literally, just stick it. So we're going to put in a total of 8 holes in this thing. So when making your holes, make sure that you try your best to get it like towards the edge, like at the edge of the glass. But make sure you don't poke through the glass, because you'll break the glass and then you'll stab yourself. I've had that happen. So we're gonna go, let's see here. You don't have to go like all the way, woo, on Kung Fu deep. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I already got 4 in there. 5, 6, 7, and right there, 8. So there. It actually looks kind of nice how it came out. So there's your 8 holes. And now we start with the oils first. So, the magical oils are going to be the last ones to go on regarding the oils, because those are the ones that actually have the intent of the focus, and the essential oils will be going in first. Because when you put in the dry herbs first, they're not going to be able to stick that well. They're going to be flopping all over the place. We do not want that. So if you have any oils that are like in a roll-on, it's probably easier to do them this way. There's Jasmine. So, starting off one at a time, we're going to just go like this. Going to decap them, not behead them. So, we're going to start this all off with rose. Again, to reiterate, rose is the staple love flower, but also it's also able to adapt to whatever working you're doing and whatever's lacking. So now when you do the roll-ons with the fingers like that, I suggest actually just getting a hold of the wick, pinch the wick alley up, and just slightly dab, your greased fingers with the oil onto the wax. Don't push on it, just tap it. Next will be neroli. Neroli is known to be very excelled at actually encouraging intimacy and optimistic connection. Try saying that 3,000 times fast. So grease your fingers with it. Handle the wick. Don't know how else to put it. Gingerly tap the wax. And then next we will put on... I'll save the best for last. Next we'll add jasmine to it. Now jasmine is known to be a very intoxicating, woozy-wooey, lulling flower. Only blooms at night. But it's also naturally a man intoxicator. And it's a man poet. It encourages more of a deeper spiritual love. So we're going to again handle the wick. Tap around the wick. Around the wick, not squish the wick. Dimwit. Nope, up. Keep it up, dude. I cannot say that I have not said that before. Oh, relax. Like you haven't heard it before. Vulgar. Last but not least, the blue lotus oil. Blue lotus is somewhat similar to jasmine in the woozy woo intoxicating effect, but it also has the ascension and negativity comes right off. Again, handle the wick, twist the wick, and then just dab around the candle. No. Yo, you. Yes, you. You're blocking the hole. It's Scoochy, the Tushy. Thank you. So, there's all the roll-ons. I'm going to get them out of my way and out of my life. So, now we have at least the roll-ons put on there. Now we're going to start adding each of the single oils. I'm going to start first with the one that's probably going to be the most pain in the tush to get covered. Oregano, again. Oregano is an anti-BS plant. It repels anything trying to influence or lead your working astray. It's also a really potent herb to tell the law to go and piss it and stick it and get away. Stop bothering me and stop being a fanboy. So, since oregano is extremely powerful and really feisty and sassy, you only need not even a full drop. Just a simple little scooch. There. That's like not even a drop. That's like half a drop. That's all you need. You don't need to be dousing this thing in oregano, because instead of pulling someone, it's going to tell them, "No, don't want you. I don't want your BS." Cinnamon bark. Cinnamon bark is, again, quite the hot and fiery, explosive resin. So you only need one drop. Yeah. Okay, fine, I'll do two. One. Two. And with the measurements, always just go with what you feel needs to be dropped in there. Whichever your intuition is saying, put this much in there, put that much in there. Don't question it, just go with it. Next, I'm going to put in a little pink pepper. Pink pepper, again, is a really cherry play. Wait, that's not pink pepper, imposter. That's holy Telstly. That cake was a lie. There's Pinky. Pinky, there he is. It's a Pinky. Pink pepper. Really playful, heart-focused, and cherry-loving kind of a plant. Only need the most 4 drops. No more than that. Okay. 1. 2. 3. 4. Next is going to be vanilla. Vanilla is a really lust-inducing plant and also an empowerment plant. This one, only just 1 drop. Because we got pink pepper being the more, like, quote-unquote, did I mention it's mating season and, notice me and be all fanboy towards me. No. Violet. Violet, again, is pretty much the flower that is the queen of being the seducer. It's also the allurer, captivator. So this one is probably going to be the most dominant oil. So you need about 6 drops of this essential oil. 6. Quite a bit, I know. So now we just got to play the waiting game and, get this thing going. Because this drop goes very slow. One. 2. There's 3. 4. 5. 1 last one. That's all I need. Come on. Move it, Cupcake. 6. And now, because since I have a lot of oil and a lot of fluid in this candle already, it's already properly greasing over. So in that kind of a situation, just simply turn the candle like this and get the oil, as much oil down into one of the holes that you made. So that way, it just doesn't pop in one spot and make it awkward. Oh my gosh, I think I'm going to be making another monster. Yang Lang. Everybody loves Yang Lang. It's like that high school girl back in school that everybody loves. And essentially, it was also the prom queen. And for some reason, also was made prom queen as a freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. For some reason, because everybody likes it that much. We're going to put a total of... we'll go with 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I mean, if any of you have any questions at all, or if you didn't hear what I said, just let me know. Just don't throw any tomatoes at my head because I don't need ketchup right now. Next will be patchouli. Again, since patchouli is meant to have things be taken from the thought and pulled into reality, and the extreme all the way yes, it's time, or nope. We're going to go with the extreme pull and the bringing into reality. So this one you'll need, I would say 3. Easy. 1, 2, 3. That's good. Now we have 2 oils, essential oils that is, left. Next up is going to be Vivi, or I like to call it vetiver. Again, men love plant, along with the ability to break through any resistance and pierce through like anything that's like trauma or bonding. Essentially resistances and having a more lulling and calming effect. This one also gonna be 3. One, 2, 3. Now we're just gonna twirl it around like that. Twirl it around like this. Making sure at least as much of the oil goes into the the crevices and the ravines. Sounds really odd of saying that, but go ahead and deal with it. You know, I really hope that thing between your legs going. Yeah, I hope the tires fall off mid-drive. They're still notches when they drive. Last but not least, just for a finishing touch, Telstly, for that negative, uplifting, kind of also aggressive protective effect. And also, I don't know why I had the urge to just to say this because it popped in my head. Pretty much the short phrase tatatsu, which means so be it. So, tatatsu. So we got all the essential oils in there. Now we can add the magical oils into this. So when you add the magical oils, you don't need to add a lot. You just need to get just a weeny little drop in. And it doesn't really matter what order you put them in. So first I'm going to start simple. First with the Woozy one. And you can just simply hold the candle out to the side, put it this way, and just have it just easily come out of the bottle. It'll ride the glass down in. See? I don't know if you can see it, but that much, that's all you need. You don't need too much more than that. As long as it makes contact with the candle, it's being absorbed into the wax. That's all you need. You don't have to go overkill with it and, douse it. And you can put them in different spots. You can even try and get them down into the holes if you want to. Doesn't matter, just as long as they're in there. That's all that is important. Right, the glass. Come out of the bottle. And last but not least, the bend over. Okay, so we got all the magical oils in this thing. Now we're going to pull it forward. And just make sure any more of that oil that's just starting just to be all stuck in the spot. Yeah, that they kind of not do that. So that way now there's the oil. Now it's oiled up. So bad. So now you're going to take the dry herb, and this I haven't squishied with, or essentially, you know what I'm trying to say. I haven't like so weird, tenderized it or more so pet seed it. So I'm going to just do that real quick. Now, you can tell the herbs what to do, which I already did. So essentially you take your masher and then you just squish and then just... And don't be afraid to get a little bit, pushy and squishy and a little bit rough with them. I'm going to have a different one. Give me that. So yeah, you just keep going until you feel like, okay, I think they've been flattened enough. If you happen to be lucky to have a coffee grinder, you can put them in there. Just don't put them in there too long because it'll be just nothing but dust. You can also make it all dust if you want to, but I personally like to keep a little bit of it intact, especially like some of the flower parts, because those get taken by the flame real fast and they burn quick. But something like the root, like licorice root. Oh, okay, Adam. No, not a problem. Yeah. Like the roots, like the dragon's blood, the myrrh, licorice root, calamus root. Actually, those are the first two are resins. Make sure that they're crushed. Yeah, I'm existing. That's all I can say. Neutral, nothing too fancy smashy, just like, alive. So, after you get the herbs nice and tenderized, especially the resins and the roots, because if you have big pieces, it's going to hinder the flame. We don't want the flame to get hindered. So now that we have squished all this through, it actually looks a lot more workable. We're now going to take a very small amount, and we're going to work our way through to get as much as in here as we can, but also not too much that it won't burn effectively. So we're just going to sprinkle it all around. And now we're going to go as such. So we have in there, just going to simply just smack it around a little bit, just to juggle the herb and resins and the dry herbs all around a little bit, so that way they get spread out. Take another little bit, sprinkle it around. I'm doing it in a clockwise manner. It's preferred if you want to do it that way, but as long as you get it in there, it really don't matter. And again, smack it around a little bit. And just keep going until, one, you don't have any more room because the dry herb has pretty much seized the head of the candle and you can't really do with it anymore. Or if you run out, or if you feel you put on good and plenty in it. And yes, you also might have to get your fingers dirty because sometimes some of the herbs are like too stuck, they don't want to move. And whenever you get to a point where you have good and plenty, but you also got to scooch. Scooch some of the herb out of the way, away from the wick. Then just simply take the same thing you use to poke ravines into it, and just scooch the dry herb away from the wick. Get it long and far away and tell the dry herb to stop dogpiling on the poor defenseless wick, because that's not very nice. And I'm going to probably put in just one last bit of it. And this amount will be good and plenty. No more. And that is enough for this. And if you feel the need to add more oil, you can. That's your call, not mine. Sometimes you do have to add a little bit more oil so that way the herbs will stick a bit more. And there's actually a case where, yeah, we're going to need a little bit more oil because some of the herbs are not really moving around. So in that case, you probably would want to just use the herb that's the most fitting for the working. So in this case, we're going to be adding a little bit more violet to it. And let's also add a little bit more cinnamon bark and looking for one. Where the bloody heck did it go? There we go. Yeah. So we're going to add a bit more violet. But this time when we're adding more oil to it, we're actually going to be trying to aim for the spots that are kind of over, like there's a big pile of herb there that needs to be a little bit more loose, a little bit more flexible and movable. Any day now, sweetie. Thank you. And there's the violet. There's yangling. And because cinnamon bark is extremely potent, we don't need to be adding too much more to it. 1, 2. And now for the finishing touches, just simply grabbing the knife and just helping guiding the parts of the dry herb. They're deciding to be a little bit defiant and telling them, hey, come on, honey, it's Scoochy the Tushy. And voila. Of course, it may be looking like, that looks like it's a little bit of a hot mess. It's not really. Because there's actually, the only thing close to the wick is essentially the crushed chamomile. But yeah, you can see that it's evenly distributed. And the way that it looks like it even has a pattern in it. Imagine that. Now the next part of this endeavor, you're going to now need a Sharpie or a writing instrument that's like a permanent marker. Grab one of these. And I need, where the heck did that little thing of tape go? Yes, you're going to need some tape. Preferably like packing tape or small tape. Scotch tape. You didn't have to knock it out of my hand, meanie head. Anyway. So before you actually put anything on the glass, grab yourself a scratch piece of paper or something that you can doodly on. So in this case, I'm going to be using this piece of paper just to make it. So now, essentially, you're now going to be putting a intent sigil on this thing. So now you're essentially giving the intention and putting it on the glass. So since this is a targeted working for a specific individual to become woozy towards you in a way that's addictive, and however you wanted to make them become addicted to you. Addicted, like, must have this, not, the other one, addicted. No, not that one. So we're going to put, this case, we'll put the person's name on here. You can't It's best also if you're able to put the full name if you know it. If not, just go with the first name, including like if it has a suffix or prefix, and if they're like the second, third, include that in there, and then just put the intention code there. But when you write it, put it in a way that actually is saying, "Oh, sorry, done. No, too late. Datatsu. So be it." Yeah. What question got at him? Yeah. I didn't even know. I didn't even see that you actually asked the question. But what's your question? Hmm. Mm-hmm. It has potential. Everything has potential. But will it happen? I don't know. That depends on how good you focus and you put your your will towards it. And with me, there's no such thing as a weird question, to be honest. So now you have the intention written there. Now you just get rid of all the vowels. And to make it simple, I'm just going to go like this. And I'm just going to skim through it real quick. And usually when you're making an intention symbol, try your very best to make sure that you don't, have too many letters at first if you're brand new to making symbols, because it can be pretty, it can cause quite the headache if you're trying to make a sigil for the first time, if you have so many letters to work with. Well, to be honest, I've done, I even just had the thought, and all of a sudden, got his coin to flip. That's kind of a funny way of putting it, but yeah. And I really didn't even have to do, anything crazy, like something like this. Just had the thought, and all of a sudden, oh. Let's just say that it had the effect, pulled, but just wasn't really feeling it after that. So be careful. So now we have all the letters on the side right here. Now I'm going to make a symbol from it all. That's quite a lot. See here. Let's start with this. Here we go like that. And like that. And here. Here. And there, and then that'll be there. There. There's that. And there's there. And that for that one. I have one there. I got one bloody letter left. Up there. Perfect. So essentially, this is what the symbol will look like, representing the whole intention. So here we have it. And there it is right there. Ethereal. Well, that's actually a different way of putting it. I was actually just gonna say that it's like, well, that's how strong the force of will is. If your will is that strong, instant effect. But it's not always guaranteed. But now the easy part. Well, not really the easy part. Now you're gonna take this thing that's strong. Now you're gonna put it on the glass. 2 ways to do it. The lazy man's way, which is you just cut this out and pop and tape it. Or, the more hands-on way, which I'm gonna do. You now take that symbol, you put it on here. Okay. Let's see. And that there. Just curve that way, and then curve that way. And we have that, and then we're going to go like this. And 1, 2. And then we go that way, then over that way, and there, and then there. So there we go. Just like that. No. I'm honestly not. But even then, too, in a way, even if I was, I'd be a little bit, how do I put this? Trying to figure out a good way to put this. Like in a way that actually is probably seeing them in a way that's as something that is, well, not like an object, but as pretty much seeing the viewpoint is like, oh, that's divinity on earth. Best put it. And to be kind of honest, they are. Because they are given that ability to take a soul from the ether and bring it to earth. Man can't do that. They can't go through all that. Nope. No. And funny enough, the way that even like how my body reacts, like going towards that, it just feels like it's being pulled back. I don't know why. It is what it is. Anyway. So. I now also just put tape over it. Point being. Say we gotta move this, relocate it, and rebuild the space. You can now grab it, move it. And now that's not gonna go anywhere. It's still there. And if you're thinking, well, okay, are we done yet? Not even. And now we're going to also add some more things onto this thing. So let's see here. Since at the bottom, that's where essentially the information of the target's going to be. So then pretty much down here, you can put in the initials, date of birth, and other close information like that in there. If you have a personal concern, which I do, I'll be adding that into the candle shortly. You just add it at the top, or you can also have a picture of the target underneath it, which would be demonstrated too. In this case, I'm going to put the initials and date of birth. Come on, there you go. So then you have it down at the bottom there. Now for the personal concern. All of you are probably going to look at me like, wow, you're nuts, kid. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do in order to get, the stuff needed for the working. So now you're gonna take the personal concern. It's not that I realized it, it's kind of like, it just always was. And it just is what it is. So now I have the personal concern on my finger, I'm just gonna put it right on the wick. So that's the first thing that's gonna be activated. And if you're wondering what it is, I'll let your thoughts run with that one. That's all I'm gonna say. So now the personal concern is on the wick, so once this gets turned on, instant grab. And also, the personal concern that's actually being used is something that is not going to be able to miss. There's no other way that this type of concern can come from anywhere else or anyone else. If that says something. When you have a concern that close, you're not going to miss. Because essentially that level and potency of concern is pretty much saying, gotta make this idiot proof. To keep it simple. And that just smells like, it smells like a creation that I'm not gonna regret that I made. So now we have this all dressed and all ready at the simplistic level. So now to actually make kind of like the field, as I like to call it, like setting up a grid and getting things all in order. So I'm going to relocate some things around here real quick. So I'm going to be taking the oils and putting them ready to go. So as of now, feel free to have a short mini intermission while we, rearrange the scene. So if there's any questions at all, feel free to throw them. Just don't hit me in the face with them because that's not very nice. And we'll go from there. Well, I can understand why it's hard to not to believe it because your perspective is seeing women as attractive. And the only way the best to describe it is like it's just attraction, it's just that on the 3D primal level, that makes sense. So I don't need any of those. Maybe how about that one? That one, and that one, and that one. And yep. I think probably that might do. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. I need 3 more. See? Let's go with this and that one. And tag out that one. And that one. Tag out that one. And that one too. I remember to double check my numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. I got 8 there. Essentially, if you have a flower that's able to change color, like it starts from one color to another, you're essentially having a plant that has the ability to adapt. So in the case of like being purple to yellow, it's actually able to take something that is on the intuitive level and actually unlock the joys of intuition, or actually brightening up the intuition. It's also able to fill in any of those any of those qualities that a working might be lacking, if that makes sense. It's an adaptive plant and has the specialties of like what the colors yellow and purple represent. Purple for power, psychic ability, and potential, and intuitive sense, and also empowerment, intimidation. And yellow is uplifting, happy, kind of a kiddish energy, blissful, zestful. So now we're gonna go grab kind of a balanced mixture of this. So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see here. 6. So let's go with okay. I thought we were gonna take another book over here. Okay, that's not gonna work. So in provision, we're gonna be, instead of using that, we're now gonna add these two instead. A bigger piece of this stone, if it'll pop up, would be just absolutely swell. Unless this is the biggest it's gonna get, which probably is gonna be at the biggest I'm gonna get. Where over is Pinky right now? Or where over can she? So I'm gonna just go and grab intuitively those pieces don't feel right. So I'm just gonna say, hold my beer, not literally. Okay. How do I do that? Okay. Okay. Now, we're going to play a little bit of Tetris here. So, this is how it's going to go. I'm going to get this until it is scoochy. Let's see here. I'm going to try my absolutely very best to be able to just have this be visible. Oh, I have a better idea. Hold on to your hat, Mac. I'm going to grab this thingy. Okay, now I'm going for the heights. And you know, I'm going to get dizzy. Please hold on just a second. Whoops. If I broke it, I don't care. I'll just buy a new one. And there's that. It's kind of like fee, fi, fo, fumble. Scooch that over there. Right. Let me just get this out of my life. Stay there. It's scooch, scooch. Okay. Okay. Oh. Okay, so I'm going to raise this up. Okay, so hopefully you should be able to at least see how this is going to be laid out, and this is actually a little bit. Okay, so we have lifted up a bit more. Or I can just easy and just go down. Easy there. Okay, no, too low. Okay, so you have that as the centerpiece. There. So, here is like the field. If you want to put down a tapestry or piece of cloth, you can. I think I have one, I hope. If not, well, try it, okay? Here we go. Just for demonstration purposes. Alley-oop, baby. as an example. So we have this, that, right in the middle. And now you're going to actually start by having the clear quartz, master quartz, be the ones closest to it, at least the way I like to do it. So, clear quartz. Essentially, clear quartz is a stone that only understands, yes, I'll do it. You want me to do something? Tell me, what is it, and I'll do it. It's a stone that's extremely common, but it's the most versatile and the most abundant. So it's also the most adaptive, and it's also very cheap. So essentially, we're not going to give them an intention. We're just going to have them pretty much do what they do best, which is amplify, and give everybody like the big motivator. And usually start by putting in the four corners, and then from there actually start building the other directions, which are the sideways. So you should have it as such, and if they're pointed, have them point towards the candle. So essentially you'll have it be going towards it in all directions. My intuitive side is pinging me, so having one more thought if I can. Okay, fine. Just go with it. Okay. And then from there, you're going to then take, again, 8 stones, and we're sticking with the number 8. And we're going to actually put these ones around the candle, and they all support the intention at hand. So first and foremost, as I like to call it, the Kardashian quartz, rose quartz. If you're new here with stones, rose quartz is the kind of like the all-purpose love stone, and is also adaptive. Next up is going to be green aventurine. Green aventurine adds luck to essentially any kind of working and bringing it to be more abundant and more expansive. Next, I'll be adding in jumpy little one. A ruby. Ruby is the really hot, vibrant, flashy stone, and also a passionate one of that. And then to the far right on the last other side, I'm going to be putting I'm going to put star garnet all the way over there on that side. And then for the remainder of the quarters, thuolite is going to be going over here. Garnet, but since this is a star garnet's actually able to transcend the physical intimacy and actually pull it on the physical, spiritual, and the mental. Thuolite is did I mention it's mating season stone? I'm dead serious. Then I'm going to take this little cutesy tugtupite, put it down here. It's actually a mixture of the heart and then the lower chakras, and mashes them together. Rhodochrosite is essentially a stone that is actually a little bit flirty, but also being able to go to the depths of emotional love and care. And last but not least, morganite, or as I like to call it, Morgan Freeman, to bring in the balance. But since this is a kind of a bit of an overpowering kind of a working, we're actually going to have this kind of be a little bit on the nice side. So this morganite's actually going to be acting in a way that kind of tips things in our favor more. So that's essentially the basic layout with all the stones, but since I like to make sure that nothing gets hindering with it, I'm going to take some pieces of snow quartz, with the focus intent to actually lock down and protect the working and making sure nothing comes in and decides to mess with it. I'm going to grab all of my snow ports so that way I have them all up here, and then we can go from there. Okay. So in this regard now, I'm just going to make the outer one, two, another piece down over there, and then the last piece right there. There's the square part, and then just build my way around. One there. And I believe that, yeah, but that's all of them. So now, I'm just taking a look at it to see if it needs anything else added to it, which I'm not getting that intuitive pull to do so. So I'll just kind of show how the layout is. Here we go. So pretty much that's how it looks. And yeah. So now essentially this thing is all ready to be lit, and we can go from there. But also adding, actually I'm gonna go grab myself something to drink. I haven't drinking anything for a bit, and I need to, moisten my lips. So quick intermission break. Don't fall over because I'm gonna cry crocodile tears. Grab a drink. So I'll be back in 2 shakes. Okay, so essentially, pretty much that's the layout for this. And if you do not have anything as much as I do, like in terms of tools and all that, just work with what you got. Oh. Are there any questions at all? I'll try and bring this down. Somewhere. Ah. And this is kind of just like a personal thing. Whenever I actually do light this off, I like to have the top of the glass, like the rim, clear. Yep. Yep, you can use red as a substitution. You can use for the red, for the energy and the lust and the desire for it. White, the all-purpose, but pink is the most fitting for having something being addictive. Because you're taking something and making them become obsessed with it. Like, oh, like sugar tooth, overly sweet. You need to get the fix of, you know, of this person, which in this case would be a fix of either their attention, indulgence, nastiness, if you get what I mean. Yeah, you get the idea. And like what I've said, there's no... The only thing that is going to prevent this from working is if you're saying that it's unethical, you're not supposed to do it. They have quote-unquote free will, and just for that reason, I can't intervene with somebody's free will, which that's when I chime in and say, if you were here in the very beginning, you already know what I'm going to say. When it comes to you and your happiness, who comes first? If you said myself or you, that's correct. You have to come first. You always have to come first. Until you're well and happy and on your own 2 feet and fulfilled and content, nobody else and nobody else's life experience or anything like that matters. Until you get what you need first. A little bit. I know it's a little bit selfish, but when it comes to you, you have to put yourself first. Because without you, from your perspective, the world doesn't exist. Your life, you decide how it goes, nobody else. Because you come into this world by yourself, and you're supposed to be here to enjoy and live your life to the fullest. So really, the only happiness that matters really rude. The only happiness that does matter is yours. 100% of the time. And do what you will. And if you're not fulfilled, fix it. If you have to do something in order to be fulfilled, and if it's gonna be doing something towards somebody else, well, you're gonna be living with that part of not being fulfilled, and you don't want to live with that. You want to put yourself first. When it comes to your happiness and fulfillment and living from the best life you can, to me, no brainer. I put myself first over anything, anyone, any situation. I'm not saying it to be narcissistic, but from a logical, practical standpoint, and being realistic, I saw that. Anyway. Oh no. What you got, Michael? And besides, I'm gonna give that to Adam. And I'm also gonna give that to you, Michael. I'm giving you both those because you guys have been like regulars like for a while. So if you're like a regular attender and regular viewer on live stream, could have awarded you for it somehow. So there it is. Anyway, what's your question, Michael? Well, for number one, ensure that the deities you're working with actually will agree to work with one another. Obviously. Number two, make sure that they understand that when working with them, if there's any kind of confliction between them, either be cross pantheon or even within their own pantheon, if there's anything that they're have like some discomfort in, like they're not comfortable with a certain entity, tell them, leave your standpoint and how you view and how you interact and how you see this entity or the divine being. Keep your opinion at the door. Especially when it comes to working with them, regarding working. I go at it with a no-nonsense approach. Because we're doing something serious, we're going to act serious. But the connection between myself and them, that's between me and them. But when it comes down to business and work, it has to be strictly that. And if they don't like how there's another entity that is the polar opposite, conflicts with them, or the whatnot, they have to leave it at the door. If that's what you're meaning, but if you're, but what does it mean by entertained? Like, because if you're inviting them in to work alongside you or play a part to like an offering of some kind, just invite them in. And if they come in, yay. If they don't come in, oh well. They have their right to choose, and whatever they do, it's up to them. Okay. So, just set the expectation and let them know. Hold your ground. If they don't want to attend it, and if they don't like it, okay, they don't have to attend. But if they pop up, and if you're working with another entity, and if it's working and going okay, then they throw a hissy fit. Yeah. So if it's an invitation to celebrate, yeah, not a problem. Invite those who you deem fit. And if there's anything that gets like discomforting to any of them, let them know. This space is a no negative zone. If something is discomforting, you can either go or put up with it. And besides, I saw it behind me. Can we not do that? Anyway. What did I just say? Yes, I'm looking right at it and I see it clear as day. Can you stop making moves over there? Stop. Don't move. Stop. See? Notice how this little thing over here is moving? Stop it. Anyway. You think you're cute, huh? Stop it. See how leveling spirits trying to mess with you? Stop it. Piss it. And that's actually taking it in a way that's practical. Being realistic about it. And treating them as if they were just another person like you. Keeping it simple. Oh, it got bigger. Oh. Get. I didn't say you can come in here though. Just get out of it. How about you go out and come towards the door again and knock? like everybody else. You ain't nothing, hun. That's the double-edged sword, literally, of being aware and having the awareness open. You can see them and interact with them, but then you also attract them to the points where you don't even want them in the current moment. I'm gonna give you a count of 3 to go and piss it and stick it. 1, 2. I'm pointing right at you. You're not slick. Out. Oh, look at that. Works every time. Well, I mean, it's the same thing, like if, if there's another person attacking you. The best way is just sit in silence. Just sit in silence, and then things you start picking up on them. Also, sitting in the dark. When an entity attacks you, it's the same thing like if it's another person attacking you. Like when an entity touches you, call it out and be like, I didn't say you can touch me. Rude. Again, what makes it any different than a person just going and being inconsiderate and touching you in an uncalled for way? That's not right to do in the 3D world, so it doesn't excuse the other side from going, no touchy. No groping. Simple. Treat it as if it was another person, or, another human being. Doesn't excuse it, and you're an equal to it. And it doesn't matter what title it has. Anything if it has a title, okay. That doesn't mean much, because at the end of the day, you can have a king, but if he's an idiot, you can have a king, but if he's an idiot, he's an idiot. The king is an idiot. It doesn't matter if he gets dethroned, it's still an idiot. Or, the king can be intelligent. The king is just the title that goes in front of a name. If he's stupid, it's stupid. If it's intelligent, it's intelligent. If it's dim-witted, it's dim-witted. Sir Dimwit, Madame Dimwit, don't matter. It's just the title. Let's switch this over here. Now. Anyway, I have to sign off because headaches people, so I'll be back. I'll be back probably tomorrow, and I'm going to try and be going live like daily now. I'm going to have something I need to take care of and get it out of the life before a tape will flip on it. So, toodaloo.